Our first order of business is to understand what mediated communication is and what it is not, and how it's different from other forms of communication. Here's an overview of what I'll talk about in the next several videos and over the next several slides. You can find these slides on Inquire also. We'll talk about the key considerations of media influence, 4 types of communication, and Miletsky's criteria of mass communication. So before we do that, I want you to think about, and maybe you even jot this down or you make a mental note, whatever you need to do, but I'll allow 60 seconds for each question. How does media impact us in positive and in negative ways? And again, jot down something. Okay, and our next question, generally speaking, is media good or bad? And I'll just allow like 10 seconds for you to answer that question. Okay, so you might have come up with several things, positive, negative, good, bad. And that leads us to our conversation about key considerations about media influence, which is prevalent in our society, especially in the current context, societal context. We have this consideration about information access versus information overload. Information access is the ability in the digital age to access information that we need to have access to. What's going on in the world? Does it impact me? Does it impact others whom I love? Does it is it of high magnitude, etc.? Then we have information overload, which is kind of the not great part of having access to all of this information, where we consume so much information that we get overloaded and we can't actually retain it and or digest it. So you might have heard of the term desensitization. This comes from information overload, not just that, but that's an example. We also have citizen journalism versus fake news. So we live in a digital age where news doesn't get created only by journalists who are in the field, who have degrees in journalism, but news can be created and then distributed by lay people or like our everyday person with a cell phone or a social media account, right? So we have that side of things, which is good. It means we have access to information that otherwise we wouldn't, right? And then we also have the flip side of the coin of this is fake news, and disinformation and misinformation, and how that can get spread so like wildfire, because it's hard to determine what is news and what is not in our digital landscape right now. And not just right now, for a while now. Then we also have connectedness versus alienation. So we use digital media, we use social media, we use these different platforms to stay connected with our families, with our friends, with new people, right? We initiate relationships online a lot of the time. So we have this connectedness, this shared space where we wouldn't necessarily have in our physical reality, but it's still real. That connectedness is still real. However, it can also create alienation, making us feel more alone than ever, even though we have so many different quote friends on whatever platform it is. Because when we start to increase the number of quote friends, then our investment might go down, and because our we you can almost think about it as a I don't want to say finite level of resources, but when we're expending so much energy toward so many people, um, then we sometimes get feel alienated, or feel more alone, I guess. I'm going to pause here and start a new video. We'll talk about the 4 types of communication in just a moment.